If you have an interest in horses and love learning more about horses, the horse industry, teaching, or even managing your own horse business, then you're in the right place. We would love you to join us on our mission, which is to improve the lives of horses around the world through the education of riders, handlers, and trainers. So get comfortable, listen in, and enjoy.
This has been another episode sponsored by Online Horse College. If you haven't had a look at the wide variety of equine-specific accredited courses, then go to onlinehorsecollege.com and I'll see you over there. Our conversation at Horse Chats today has been brought to you by Equitana, who are celebrating now 20 years of bringing Australian horse lovers everything they love, including equine entertainment, exhibition and competition. So join us on the 15th to the 18th of November in the heart of Melbourne to witness a packed program, including the main event, full flight, dressage freestyle, all-star The Way of the Horse, and an Australian show jumping record attempt, which has been held for almost 39 years, as well as the best in equine retail therapy with more shops than Melbourne Central. Our guest today is Monique Miller. So after we've listened to our guest, had a chat with her, go to equitana.com.au. But meanwhile, we'll introduce Monique. So Monique manages a busy riding centre, Regal Riding School. She combines riding lessons, vaulting, racing and rides down the beach. So very busy life. How are you today, Monique?
I'm well, thanks. And how are you going?
Yeah, well. Monique, you sort of have got all horses, but you're doing some sort of different things with horses. You know, I can see the riding centre and the lessons. And then people often have an offshoot to a riding school. You've got a vaulting as an offshoot. You do rides down the beach and you do racing. So very horse orientated, but lots of different things that I'm sure keeps you busy.
That's right. We're very busy. And, my husband, he's taking care of the racing side of things. And both my husband and I grew up on riding schools, and it was a passion of ours. Early days of courtship to one day reopen his family riding school, which was originally opened in the 60s at Shoalhaven Heads. Mm-hmm. So here we are. We didn't anticipate that it would come to fruition so quickly, but it has. We were presented with this lovely idea from a local lady. Her name is Judy Sweeney, and she approached myself to take on a program through Equestrian Australia that is very well recognised, and the program is called Ready, Set, Trot. So that was that was the little shove that just pushed us to take that next step and to reopen the riding school. So yes, we do have a busy life. We have a stable of 14 gallopers. 14 gallopers, and we have 22 horses in the riding school. And,
it's busy, isn't it? Yeah.
It's busy, but we're loving it. We're loving the transition, and it's great.
Have you got a quote that you'd like to start off with, just so listeners can get to know you a little bit better?
Oh, well, I can't really think of one in particular, I guess. I do like a quote that I picked up from my coach educator, and that was Chrissy Johnson at Nelson Johnson Equestrian. And Chrissy said to me one day, she said, "The more you know, the more you realise you don't know." And that stuck in my mind, very solid, and it's something that I like to share with people, because I think it's really great to keep an open mind, and that we continue to learn every day. Our horses are forever teaching us new tricks. So,
for sure.
I think it's a handy one. Yeah.
And for those who'd like to hear a bit more about Chrissy, they can go to our page at horsechats.com and search for, it might be under Chrissy or Christine Johnson. They can hear a bit more about that. So it certainly is an education and a learning and a journey. But you start kids off right at the very beginning, don't you?
I do.
What's your typical student?
Well, I would have to say that they're quite diverse, actually. So today I've had a couple of girls that have come to me for the first time one in particular, she's a voluntary vet nurse, and she's 16 years of age, and she just had the most beautiful demeanour for horses and a passion for learning. And, so this was her first ever formal lesson. She'd sat on a horse and been led when she was little, but, I really couldn't say that it's just, it's mainly, your 5 to 8 year old little girls with passions for unicorns and ponies. But I think it's quite diverse. Like, I really do think that there's such a lot of teenagers out there that haven't had the opportunity. They live in suburbia. They haven't had the opportunity to have a pony growing up, but they've just have this invested passion that, one day they really would love to learn. So I think starting from the very beginning is really important, and learning about being safe. And that's why I love doing the Ready, Set, Trot program. It's beautifully put together.
And you said you had 22 horses. How often do those horses, say in a period of a week, how often would you use on average each one?
Well, we try and rotate them so that nobody does, an excessive a day's work. Mm-hmm. But we also have to have in mind that every Saturday is a really busy day. So it's our busiest day, and we like to have enough horses to be able to take a group out on the beach, and we also like to have enough horses to stay home and be in the lesson sessions. So we have a few different levels of the Ready, Set, Trot going every Saturday, and our progression works so that every horse pretty much would be used. I have 2 that are spelling, but 20 horses. I would say probably on a Saturday, probably 18 of those 20 horses would be working, mm-hmm. and occasionally one gets the day off and gets to partner a racehorse to the races. But they're all very handy, and they're all very versatile, and they're a great team. I'm just, I cannot be prouder of the team. They're a really beautiful team of ponies and horses, and they all work. They all work, and some of them only work once or twice a week, and others might work, nearly every day. They might have a session or a trail ride or a beach ride. So. So we certainly don't overwork them, and I do get into a little bit of trouble from my husband for spoiling them, but you only have to look at our Facebook page to see that they're in pretty good condition. They're pretty well looked after.
Where did you get them from? It takes time to build up not just 22 horses that you go along to a sale and pick up in one day, but 22 good school horses that have got the versatility, I suppose, to do vaulting, riding school and beach. Where did you get them from? What are some tips for people who are looking for school horses?
Oh, look, I would have to say that, a lot of them I find have found me in some respect, that, it's word of mouth. And I think I really do like to encourage our clients to be patient in finding that right horse. Because so many times we see the children or parents, they go out and they are so enthusiastic, and they go out and they purchase that pony or that horse, the first one that they see, and somebody told them that it was quiet, and we see it just too often, and things go pear-shaped. The horse doesn't work out, the child loses confidence, and then, all of that time is pretty much... it's shattering his dreams. So I like to say, the word of mouth. People, if you spread the word, what you're looking for, and you approach people, accredited coaches or people in the horse industry, let them know what you're looking for, get some assistance, keep your eye on ads. I also would have to say that a lot of horses have come to me because I know what I'm looking for. So, that's where I've acquired quite a few. But, the odd one off Gumtree, and I've also found a few on the Facebook sites. And I have bought a couple and been really lucky. One of my best horses I purchased, I hadn't actually laid eyes on him. But in saying that, I saw his ad, And I just said, that horse is something really special, and, I hope to have him on my team. And what I did was I had a coach that lived in the area, an accredited coach, give me an assessment on the horse, which was really helpful. So therefore I purchased him from Interstate, and he's the best horse that I have in the team.
When you're looking for a horse, are you looking for certain qualities, certain height, type, certain age? Have you got like a checklist, or what are you looking for when you're looking for a school horse?
Yeah. I'm looking for something that's over 10.
Mm-hmm.
I like between 10 and 10, 12 is a really nice age. But I think most of my team, I would have to say, would be around. My youngest would be 8, and the oldest horse that I have in my team would be, I think he's 23.
Mm-hmm.
23. So, and he just does the old guy just does a few little lead rides, but he loves, he still loves being part of the action. And look, I don't look for, typical size. I mean, obviously we need horses that can carry little children, and then we need horses that are going to be carrying teenagers that are a little bit bigger. So I like to look for horses that have a little bit of experience behind them. So been there, done that, all-rounder type.
So when you say a 10-year-old, it's not just a 10-year-old, it's 10-year-old, because usually by the time they've got to 10, they've had a bit of experience in education.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, they've been there and they've done quite a bit. So, that's all-rounders are generally a good horse for me to take into the school, and some of them take quite a bit of riding or training to get them used to, being on the beach, because not every horse has seen the ocean. And, we make sure that we do a few months' work and lots of rides before we do include them in rides with customers. But our horses love going to the beach. It's just the most amazing experience to ride a horse on the beach.
It is, and you're right about that. Sometimes if horses haven't seen the beach, particularly if they haven't seen waves before, and they're running away from the waves instead of just allowing them, and all of a sudden they get it and go, oh, this is not going to hurt me. I can just stand here and it just splashes up against my leg. It's not chasing me. It's almost like a bit of a click moment, isn't it, when they get to that stage and start to enjoy it?
Yeah, it takes a while. And I would have to say, out of my teams, there's only one horse, and he's probably the quietest, most reliable fellow to have beginners on riding on the beach. But he doesn't like getting his feet wet, so he tends to just step aside. And, but we've had, we've had some really magic moments on the beach, and the footage that we capture first thing in the morning with the sun rising up over the water, it's just beautiful.
Yeah. How far are you from the beach?
Well, our property, we're very, very fortunate. Our property, our boundary, we ride through a little creek crossing, and we have a 15-minute ride through the bushland, which is on the edge of Shoalhaven Heads Golf Course. And we just have the most amazing little trail that takes us to the beach. So we're really lucky. We're thankful every day that we are so lucky to live where we live and have what we have right on our doorstep, and to be able to offer such diversity. It's great.
Yeah, yeah.
But the only catch is, though, you have to ride at low tides. It's only,
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not a broad beach then?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but we only want to ride at low tide, and there's always plenty of room to ride. It's beautiful.
Just thinking about the beach and thinking about when you go down there to ride, because I'm sure you enjoy just going down for a ride. What do you think is the best thing about riding on the beach? And you've got all those other places. You've got the rainforest to ride through. You've got your own property. I'm sure you've probably got arenas and things like that. The best thing about riding on the beach?
Well, I think it's a really special experience. It's hard to explain. But when I take people out, I've had some people they cry. I've had ladies that come out that they said, "This is so beautiful," and they just, they get all teary. And but what I love about it, I love the freedom of just being out in the beautiful cool breeze, and being able to walk a horse in the water is something that not many people get to experience.
Mm-hmm.
We get to do it. We get to do it as often as we like, really. But and sometimes, and I never take it for granted, because when I take customers out for rides and they say, "Oh my goodness, you just never want to go home," and I said, "That's how it feels when you're out there. It's just the horses love it. It's a beautiful atmosphere. It's a very quiet part of the beach where we barely ever see, we barely pass people walking, or we're quite a distance from the surf club. So all the activity with swimming and surfing is down at the surf club. So we're probably about 800 metres away from all of that activity, and which provides us a really peaceful place to ride. And occasionally you pass somebody walking their dog and throwing a stick out the ocean, but everybody just gives you a friendly wave, and it's just the most amazing place to be.
I was going to ask you about if there was any challenges, but it sounds like there's no challenges. It's an established beach and an established ride, and you don't have to worry about major traffic to get there, or a long distance or anything. So it sounds perfect.
It is. It's idyllic. It really is. I mean, you always do have, there's always a risk factor when you go out into open areas and especially when you're taking people out that are not as experienced as what they would have thought they were. Mm-hmm. But we're very proud of our horses. They're all very good. They follow each other. We always make sure we go nice and steady. The challenges out there on the beach, I suppose, would be just the weather conditions.
Yep.
So sometimes if it's a little bit windy, you might get some sand that blows across the beach, or you might get big seas, and the waves come in a little bit faster than usual. But ideally, our horses are very conditioned to those conditions, so they're all pretty accepting.
Tell us a little bit about your vaulting then. You've got vaulting, which you use as a complement to your lessons. The horses that you use, do they all do the vaulting, or is there a particular size that you're looking at?
No, well, firstly, I became interested in the vaulting when I was doing my coach educating with Chrissy Johnson.
Oh, because she does vaulting as well, doesn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, and Lynn Lynch from Sydney Vaulting Group. So Lynn was my coach educator to become an accredited vaulting coach, and I've only been accredited for a matter of probably 6 months. And prior to that, I was thinking, okay, where next? Where do I go next? I've done my intro coach. Yep. So Chrissy said to me, "You really should do something different and maybe look into becoming a vaulting coach." So I thought about that, and then of course I had a meeting with the pathways manager from Equestrian Australia, and Julie was her name, and she was mentioning some new programs that were being implemented with Equestrian Australia and Ready Set Trot, and she said to me, "Ready Set Vault is something really exciting." So I thought, well, that's what I will run with. So we'll do something a little bit different. And I have a daughter who's 9 years old, and she loves gymnastics. Mm-hmm. She loves horses, and she loves music. And she says to me, "Mum, it's all I want to do." She said, "It's all I want to do. It's everything rolled into one. It's gymnastics, it's horses, it's music, and it's all rolled into one." So, she pushes me a lot, to get up and vault before school.
Yep.
And we have 2 horses that we use for vaulting. One is 14 hands, and he's a paint quarter horse crossed with a riding pony, and he is just perfect. He's like a robot. So he's happy to walk or just jig-jog trot all day long. So he doesn't want to canter. He just wants to walk around, and he's happy for 3 kids to be on him at the same time and doing, all of what they do up there. So it's it's lovely to have Bill, our 14-hand pony, to give the kids their confidence and bring everybody that comes through our programs and holiday programs, just to give them the experience of being on the barrel and having practice their compulsory moves on the barrel, and then to be able to get on the horse and to ride a horse with aeroplane arms, or to be kneeling, or to be in a flag position. It just gives them so much satisfaction that they're, doing something really exciting and different, even if it's at the walk. And then we have our big 16 two-hand horse Tex, and Hayes Park, Texas is a big 16 two-hand paint gelding, and he's pretty amazing. He does a little bit of liberty work, and he does a little bit of dressage and a little bit of jumping, and he's great on the beach. And he's our horse that we've got some pretty big dreams to one day be out there and showcasing what we're all learning at the moment. So hopefully we might get into schools next year at SIAC with him, to give the girls the opportunity to just get out and show what they've been working hard and practicing doing.
Yes.
So it's starting.
What makes you most proud? Is it when your daughter's doing that, or is it when you've got other students, or is it rides on the beach? What do you think?
Oh, do you know what? I think what makes me really proud, my daughter makes me very proud, but I would have to say also, when I see my little students progressing and the smile on their face, just when they've learnt to master their rising trot, or whether they have their first canter, I think that's pretty special. It's very rewarding. And when you're feeling tired, and you think, oh, I'm a little bit over this teaching, and then you have somebody that comes along with special needs, and you see them progress, and it makes their day. So that makes me really proud. I think just seeing the children progress and enjoy what they love doing, it's a pretty special feeling when they, when you make their day, or you make their week or their year, and you see beautiful cards thanking you for
lovely
introducing them. So I think that makes me very proud.
What about when they first come? If you first come, you've got beginner riders that don't have experience with horses. What do you think are the biggest faults that you see? The biggest things that they need to work on to improve their enjoyment with their riding?
Well, I would have to say, when they arrive, they're so excited. Mm-hmm. They're so excited that they're jumping. Some are very nervous.
Yep.
But majority that I see of the young children that come in, they come in just jumping for joy. And my first when I introduce myself to them, I introduce them to our safety tips.
Okay.
And I say to them, and I'll open up our little folders, ready set trot folders, and I'll say to them, now this is very important, listen, that this is what we do before we start to ride. We have to learn how to be safe around the ponies. We need to stay calm, and we need to stay quiet. We don't running. So we just go through safety tips, and I find that to people. And also, I would have to say, starting them off always in a one-on-one situation. So they're in a confined area, a safe pony, and they're being taught from the very beginning how to stand, where to be safe, how to groom, how to take the horse. And I like to go through all of those steps in a one-on-one process before we incorporate them to a little group, and then we call it a progress group. So then they start to progress.
Okay. And what about, do you start them on the lunge? You said, the grooming and everything else, but how do you actually start your beginners?
We start them in the ground yard, and mm-hmm. we have cones that are out, and we teach them about steering and stopping. And we also put them on the lunge and teach them how to rise to the trot. So, we like to get them rising to the trot in their first lesson, and steering and stopping and just learning on how to work with the horse.
Yep.
In a really safe area. So, yeah, just always in the confined area. So we have a nice round yard that we work in, and that seems to work well for us. And then before taking them into the arena, we have a full-size arena and a little paddock that we have set up as a jumping arena as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're an equestrian coach or a horse riding instructor, or even if you aspire to be one, have a look at the free video series for horse riding instructors on the Horse Chats website. Go there now, have a look, horsechats.com. Okay, and then what do you've got your riding school started, and this is, money aside, because money's always a problem. What was your biggest challenge in getting it? Because it had been a riding school, hadn't it? Why had it closed? Were they just too busy or not profitable? What was the reason it closed?
Well, back in I think it was the late 80s, early 90s that the riding school was closed down, and it was mainly due to insurance. So
the costs there. Yep.
Yeah, cost of insurance, and back in those days, everybody would fall off and want to sue. So it was, it became too difficult to keep it going, keep it open, and I think my biggest challenge was, I guess I've been very fortunate in the way that I have lovely staff around me. I've got girls, and all of my staff are girls that have come through the program, through the Ready Set Trot program.
Yep.
One in particular, she was in my very first Ready Set Trot program, and she's never left. So 4 years later, she's still here with me, and she's just finished her HSC, so she's going to become an intro coach very soon, hopefully. So, but challenges. I think every day there's challenges, and I think probably the weather is always your biggest challenge, isn't it? You're always governed by the weather, and But no, I think we're lucky. We have a great team around us, and gradually we've built the team up to 22 horses, and I think we face challenges every day though, paying the bills and keeping it all going. And
sure, as every small business owner does. I suppose there's always challenges at different level, and if there wasn't, wouldn't life be boring?
Oh, absolutely, and I think that's what makes us strive, doesn't it? We always, for example, I suppose one of the challenges that I have is not being able to fit so many on my float, because I have so many students that would love to compete in these we have a local inter-school and competition, which is a 3-day event, and we just took 8 horses to that, and that was amazing. It was a great experience. Some of the kids was their first time out. We've got another fundraiser coming up at Berry Riding Club on the 25th of this month, and we'll be taking 10 horses to that. So I guess it's a challenge trying to get them all on the truck and the float, trying to fit them all on.
Yes, bit of juggling there for sure. Yeah. So what are you looking forward to now? Are you looking at an indoor arena to combat your weather problems, or what are you looking for in the future?
Oh, no, I just, I think in the future, I think we'd like to build on our vaulting experience. Mm-hmm. We have, we won't be going to, because of the high wind area that we're in.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, the indoor arena is not practical for us, but we're really happy with what we have, at our doorstep. So we're very fortunate to live in a really special place, and we can do little trail rides. If the arena is too wet, we can always say, okay, kids, off we go. We're going on a trail ride. Yep. If it's high tide, we don't have to go to the beach. We can still go through some lovely rainforest rides. And so we're really fortunate where we are. But moving forward, I think that I really do need to focus on the vaulting and take the girls to the next level. Mm-hmm. So, at this stage, we're still in training with the vaulting and early days, let's say. But no, that's something that we really would like to improve on in the future. So we'll be, yeah.
Okay.
Great.
If you were going to give advice for someone, just with horses, just summarising your philosophy with horses in general, what would you say?
I would say always seek advice, and we never stop learning. So never be afraid to ask for help, and always reach out to people that have accreditation, because they have accreditation for a reason. They've put the time in and invested in the industry, and they have some good advice. So I always like to think, that we can help people, but they have to reach out. They have to reach out and never be in a hurry. Never be in a hurry to purchase that first pony for your children.
For sure.
Because, when things don't go right, it's not safe. So if you can just be patient and always ask for advice, I think.
And I think that's just good advice anyway, is, you look out and say, right, well, who's already been there, done that? What can I learn from them?
That's right. That's right.
Okay, Monique, how can people contact you? What's the best way?
The best way to contact me is by phone.
Okay.
Or I don't advertise. I don't advertise out my business as such, because we have a pretty constant clientele from our local area, but we do, it's growing all the time. So our beach ride's starting to be a little bit more noticed. Not a lot of people know that we're here and that we're reopened, So my Facebook page, Regal Riding School Facebook page, is very welcoming. So I often put up anything that we have coming up. For example, the school holiday programs, feel free to contact me. And I think, we're on Google, but, I'm more than happy to take phone calls, and, we're always on the move. So when you have that many horses, you're always outside.
Absolutely, yes. I think I pulled you in today, didn't I? You see, I caught you when you're outside, yes, and then you've come in.
Yeah, that's right. We're just, it's a pretty busy place, but very rewarding at the same time.
Good. All right, Monique, I'd love to chat to you again. I'm sure we could learn a lot more about things to do in preparation for beach rides and running a riding school. So I will chat to you a little bit more about that later. But thanks for coming in today. Thanks for the time. Thanks for coming inside, because there was a bit of background noise when you're outside. So good to talk to you.
And likewise, Glenys, thanks so much for including me in your talk show.
That's okay. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye for now. Bye.
Now, if you're still there, you probably know that I'm absolutely passionate about education within the horse industry. That's why I host this podcast. My other venture is Online Horse College. Have a look now at onlinehorsecollege.com, and I'll see you over there.
Remember that our comments and instructions are general in nature and do not take into consideration your individual horses or your individual ability and circumstances. If you enjoyed this podcast, then please leave your comment below.